Hey guys, welcome back to the sanctuary. So today, this is just going to be a short stream, probably only like 10 or 15 minutes long. But this past week, we got to our 1 year anniversary, and so I thought it would be a good idea to do a short review of how our first year went in the sanctuary, and to also give you a little bit of a glimpse as to where we're going as a channel. So basically, I'll just give you a short version of my story. So basically, the reason this channel exists is because, I'm a pastor. I pastor a rural church in Canada. And as a pastor, I sometimes get people that I know to what happens is people I know send me videos and they ask me for my opinions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And basically, I just got video after video of these people just teaching the worst theology I've ever seen. And these people, they have like thousands of subscribers and they have this massive following. And the stuff they're teaching is it's just bad theology. It's a bad understanding of the Bible. And I end up having to basically talk people off of the ledge, like, is God really like this? Did God really say that? And half the time it's not even true. It's just somebody's opinion. And a lot of times it's based off of false information, which is basically what half of social media is. Half of social media is fake news that has been created by people, and they go viral on TikTok and on X Live and all of these things. And so basically my story is, instead of normally people rage quit things, I kind of rage started YouTube because I thought to myself, like, I've been to seminary. I have a master's degree. I'm currently working on a second master's degree. And basically the point of this channel is I just want to give to you guys what I've learned for free. That's basically the mission of the sanctuary. So basically, why is it called the sanctuary? It's called the sanctuary because the sanctuary is typically where Christians gather together. They learn about God. They seek God. In fact, a lot of churches are actually called God's house, which is kind of it's metaphorically connected to the temple in the Old Testament. But the idea is you come to the sanctuary. Some people worship God, but the idea is they want to get close to God. And how do we get close to God? Well, we get close to God through theology, through the Bible. And so those are kind of the two things that this channel is really centered on. Now, how did we do in our first year? Well, let's go through I'm going to go through some of my analytics with you guys. So the first year of growth, we started with 0 subscribers. And in 1 year, typically what I get from most YouTubers is in a year that the average is to grow by about 100 subscribers. And so very interestingly, at our 1 year mark, we have made it up to 176 subscribers. And I just want to tell you guys this is way more growth than I expected. If I was able to get to the average, I would have been really happy with that type of growth. And apparently, you guys looked at what you saw. I hope I was able to meet some sort of a need. I hope that I'm able to make content that is able to help you get closer to God or help you engage with the Bible and with theology. And so we almost doubled the regular growth for most YouTubers. And so we went from 0 to 176 subscribers over the course of, I made 66 videos this year, including the shorts. And so that's over a video a week. I actually, my goal was 1 video a week, and there were some weeks I was able to get I was able to get 2 out. There's some weeks I was even able to get 3 out. And we were able to get to over 40,000 views. And so I'm beyond humbled that you guys decided that my content was worth your time. And I just want to give you just a heartfelt thank you. I never thought I would be able to get this much engagement in the first year. And so I just want to thank you guys. I'm absolutely humbled by this. And this is inspiring me to continue to get better. I had some stinkers, especially like my first couple videos. I was just recording I had no microphone. I was just going off of the audio microphone from my laptop. I had no camera. I didn't know how to use my cell phone as a camera back then. I was using just the regular camera on my laptop, and my first videos, they just weren't good. The quality was low, but you were patient with me, and I was able to figure some basic stuff out when it comes to streaming. And my content, I have noticed my content a year later is much better than it was in my first few videos. And so I just want to thank you guys for your patience. I've learned a lot in this first year, and I'm hoping coming in the next year, I'm going to be able to do even better. I'm going to continue to grow as a person. I'm going to continue to grow in my streaming skills. And my hope is that I continue to get better, and I continue to give better content for you guys. So that kind of brings me to, where are we going with the channel? So in my first year, I was able to do some theology stuff, which is really what I wanted to do. But I ended up doing a lot of reaction videos, and those were actually the ones that did the best. Particularly in December, around Christmas time, I did a reaction video to Wes Huff debating Carson. And that was my first video that really did well. That one got over 5,000 views. In I think, I want to say the first 2 or 3 weeks, it went past 5,000 views. My second best video was when I did a debate review / reaction to needgod.net, and the debate that he did with Catholic apologist Shameless Popery. And that one did really, really well. I only had I want to say 100 subscribers at that time. And that one did over 5,000 views within the first week and a half. And so I was really, really happy with that one. So apparently you guys really tend to like reaction videos. Now, the direction that I want to go in the next year, I really want to get more theological. Partially is because I'm a pastor, and I really have a passion for theology, and I have a passion for biblical studies. And so this next year, I want to be more engaging with scholarship. In the next 2 weeks, I actually have slated to come on Dr. Tom Wadsworth. He has Dr. Tom Wadsworth. He actually has a doctorate in the area of biblical studies. And he recently has been doing all kinds of interviews about worship in the early church, or maybe we should say lack of worship in the early church. And so I'm going to have him come on next week, and we're going to do an interview, and we're going to be talking about some stuff that he actually did his doctoral thesis on, which is the 14th chapter of 1 Corinthians, in which the Apostle Paul, he talks about and gives out guidelines for worship in the church. And so we're going to be talking about things like, what did a church service look like in 1 Corinthians? Like during the first century, what did Christians do in the worship service? Did they sing? Did they worship? How did they worship? We're going to be asking things about the text. Like, for instance, in the text, Paul gives out guidelines for this is how you speak in tongues in a church service. So I'm going to be asking him, what did speaking in tongues look like in the early church? Were people speaking? Were they learning languages really quick? Were they speaking in tongues in a supernatural way? And Paul also talks about in that chapter, he also gives out guidelines and rules for how people are to prophesy. And so I'm going to be asking, what did prophecy look like in the early church? Was prophecy preaching? And if so, what does it look like for Paul to say, have 2 or 3 people prophesy? You can all prophesy in turn. And what did Paul mean when he said, I wish you would all prophesy for the edification of the body? And we're also going to be talking about the Last Supper. What did the Last Supper look like in the early church? Was it a sacrifice like the Catholic Church says? Was it an unbloody sacrifice of priests offering the sacrifice to God in order to cleanse the Christians of their sins? Was it a meal? Some in the book of Jude talks about the agape feast or the love feast. And so I'm going to be talking to Dr. Wadsworth about what did church look like in the early church? What did church look like in the first century? And was there any development? What did church look like? Did it look like high church? Did it look more like a Catholic church service, or an Anglican or a Lutheran church service? Or did it look more like your average evangelical church service? Like, what did church look like? So we're going to be talking about that with Dr. Tom Wadsworth. I'm also, and a big shout out to Nick Bracing. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, Nick. Nick Bracing, he saw my my reaction video to slavery in the Old Testament, and he was able to connect me with Dr. Josh Bowen. And so next week I'm going to be, actually rather this week, I'm going to be recording with Dr. Josh Bowen, and we're going to have a conversation on slavery, really connected to the idea of, did Christians, or not really Christians, does the Bible, specifically the Old Testament, does the Old Testament condone slavery? He's written an entire book on the subject, and I made a point in one of my live streams to say that we need to be taking in scholarship from scholars that disagree with our position. I certainly disagree with his position on the New Testament, but however, there's stuff he has to say that I disagree with that I'm going to be wrong on. And there's stuff that, if you come from an atheist perspective, there's going to be Christian scholars that are going to say things that they're going to be right about, and I really believe that if we really want to know what truth is, we need to be listening to scholars on both sides of the argument, scholars we disagree with, and we need to be able to have conversations with them because they're going to be right about stuff. And we need to take in all of the information so that we can make an informed decision. And so once again, a big shout out to Nick for being able to connect me with Dr. Bowen. I'm going to be honest, I didn't think you would take a look at me because my channel is so small, but I'm happily wrong about that. And I'm very excited to be doing this interview with Josh Bowen. And so be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming up in the next week or two. And also next week, I'm going to be interviewing Bronwyn, who lives in Australia, and she is the co-host of the Kingfisher podcast. And so I'm going to be talking to her, and we're going to be having a discussion around women in ministry. And we're going to be talking about, were women apostles? Were women pastors? Can women be leaders in ministry today? And so we're going to be having a conversation about women in ministry and what women in ministry should look like coming from a biblical perspective. And so this is kind of the direction that I am putting the channel on. Now, that being said, I'm not going to stop doing reaction videos. At the end of the day, I'm really here to serve you guys. And I'm very open to you guys sending in requests. I had a couple people send in requests this year, and I did both of them. And really, I just want to be honest with you guys. I'm really viewing this as this is an opportunity for a pastor who has been to seminary to be able to give away what I've learned for free to you guys. And so if you guys have topic suggestions, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to do a video based upon your interests, because at the end of the day, I just want to be able to equip you guys in the areas that you are interested in. And so yeah, and so I'm just going to click out of this. And so yeah, so that's basically that's my update. I just want to let you guys know, like, I just want to give you a heartfelt thank you. Thank you so much for thinking I'm worth your time. Like I said, I'm a brand new YouTuber, but I'm getting better, and I'm getting better quickly. And so I just want to thank you guys for being patient with me, for investing your time in me and in the channel. I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to engage with as much scholarship as I can. Now, because I'm small, not a lot of scholars have given me their time, but I'm just really humbled and surprised that these people are taking an interest in this channel, and they are partnering with the channel, and so yeah, and so I just wanted to give you guys an update. This is the direction the channel is going. We're going in the direction of deeper theology. I want to interview scholars on various theological topics, various historical topics, because I love church history and everything that goes into that. And also, I'm also going to be doing some videos kind of in a Gavin Ortland style, where I'm going to do all this research, and I'm going to be doing theological essays, and so I'm going to be going and reading the deep stuff. I'm going to be reading the scholars. I'm going to be doing all this research, and hopefully I can present you guys scholarly essays, but in a way that is going to engage your interests, and that is going to help you connect with God, and in a similar way that the sanctuary is known for. And so with that, I think I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your interest, and we will see you guys in the next video.